I'm going to follow Jojo's example, if you don't mind. I'll stand here. I have a loud principal's voice, so I think you can all hear me. I stand before you as a global citizen. I was born in Bihar. I grew up in Nepal. I studied here in the Notaries up to 10th standard. I'm an Australian by citizenship, but I feel more an Indian. I've worked for the last 25 years in the Indian subcontinent in the field of education. So please accept me as a global citizen, but one who feels very much a part of the Indian education situation. And I think many of you are familiar with that. But I've just taken a 2-minute clip where he talks about the way education globally has developed out of the Industrial Revolution. Now, some of you may have seen this before, but let me show you that, and then I'm going to show a second clip which I'll explain in a moment. So let's have a look at that first.
Every country on earth at the moment is reforming public education. There are two reasons for it. The first one is economic. People are trying to work out, how do we educate our children to take their place in the economies of the 21st century? How do we do that? Given that we can't anticipate what the economy will be. You're better having a degree than not. It's not a guarantee anymore. And particularly not if the route to it marginalises most of the things that you think are important about yourself. So people say we have to raise standards if this is a breakthrough. You know, like, really, yes, we should. Why would you lower them? You know, I haven't come across an argument that persuades me of lowering them. But raising them, of course we should raise them. The problem is that the current system of education was designed and conceived and structured for a different age. It was conceived in the intellectual culture of the Enlightenment and in the economic circumstances of the Industrial Revolution.
Short there, it's just 2 minutes. It continues for another, I'll finish.
Technology is meant to make all of our lives easier, but the seemingly unstoppable rise of smart devices and constant connection also risks creating a legion of screen addicts. Health experts are monitoring the use of phones and tablets and trying to limit exposure to screens from the age of 2 onwards. It's a new area of health and education research, but one that experts hope will drive a better balance between man and machine. Connotation report.
Psychologist Jocelyn Brewer works as a counsellor for school kids and has helped depressed kids shape their screen addiction.
It comes down to not just the device necessarily, but it's what people are doing with the device.
Education expert Kate Highfield works with families like the Robinsons to help them get the most out of their screens. There are now guidelines on how much screen time children as young as 2 should have, but it's such a new area that no one can agree on exactly how much is too much.
It's not about children at 2 years of age being addicted to the media. I just say they're probably having a bit too much of it, and we need to revert to a balance. So they've got a balance of real play as well as digital play. And for a really young child who's using their finger to constantly touch, they don't develop that pincer grip.
Experts are only just catching up with the consequences of too much screen time and too little time with the tools of the past.
Some of the concerns can be with eyesight, with fine motor skills and pencil grip, other skills with posture as children lean down to look at the iPad. The big issue though is really the time it takes away from other play. So it can displace other key skills. If I'm engaging with digital media and playing games or reading digital books.
Let me close with a little card that was given to me last Friday on Teachers' Day by one of the students as we left assembly. The students were handing out cards to all the teachers. I thought this was very relevant for today. To be a teacher, you must be a prophet, because you are trying to prepare people for a world 30 to 50 years into the future.
Before I do so, I mean, all my previous speakers have made my job much more easier. I have barely anything to share as such. Mrs. Amisha has spoken from around the world. Dr. Sandraputra's renowned educational technological world research scholar who has done tremendous research in technology, how to integrate technology in the field of teaching. He has done quite a lot of experiments, and then he has presented this whole on the wall and how children are learning on their own. Self-teaching. It is not even self-learning. It is self-teaching is what is the concept which he has come up with. And Mrs. Ashish on technology into the world. Last year, sometime, I attended an international conference on education in Bangalore, where again we have had a guest speaker, this Dr. Sandraputra. He started those services, food, building and ground cleaning, and that has gone up. Protective services, operations, fabricators, all these people are not available. I will not be surprised in another 10 years down the line, you won't find a carpenter to repair a minor broken home, or an electrician to do some work, or a plumber to rectify your water problem. We all have to probably learn everything on our own. Number of professions are not no longer existing. That's another fact. 2009. From 2009, we are almost into 2019, another 10 years. So where are we heading towards? Best education in the world, it is considered that Finland is doing very well, followed by, of course, many countries, for a number of reasons. Finnish teachers are supporting, teachers act respectfully towards their students. States have taken up the PISA test. One is Jammu Kashmir, another one is South State. And this distribution is allowing, the intensity, the most dark thing shows that they are doing well. And the most lighter one shows that we are nowhere in the picture. And you can see the whole of this area is blank. And we hardly do anything. The further study is on PISA. Math scores. How people, I don't know where we are finding, it's again that I am sharing. I don't know what has to be done is what is my confusion, which I would like to put it across here. These are some statistics. So, what should we discuss? So I'm planning to present it in 3 parts. One is why. Why should we discover tomorrow? All these statistics certainly reveals, and mere presence of these many very highly educated community shows that there is an emergency. We cannot postpone it for any time. There is no way we can procrastinate this because it will do much more damage. So what? 3 questions. Why we should discover? Certainly we should discover because statistics are showing that we are at a very low level platform. And what should we discover? I have narrated. But how will we discover? I am only seeking your help because I don't know. The present system has to be revamped. It cannot be just modified. Here and there, if you modify it properly, you will not be able to achieve the desired. If you want to really transform, revolutionize it, if you really want to revolutionize the education, I think the only way is to create an institution, share, care. Humanity is something which is something special. Individuals should come up with creative ideas and innovative methods in teaching. Thank you very much.
State of great panic ever since my location was triangulated by 3 very well-meaning people at Lawrence School and said, "Tujhe kuch bolna hai." And keep it entertaining, but 10 minutes. Keep it inspiring, but 10 minutes. Keep it inspirational, but 10 minutes. One of the biggest problems, a question was asked by a journalist last month. How do you work with the psycho of children? I have no idea what that means. It is a highly offensive word. My biggest problem is that, like I said, I have been on both sides of the fence, on the fence, kicked off the fence, bounced back on the fence. I'm a person without a job, always. My area of work is deep in the deserts of Kutch, in the forests of Uttarakhand, and the upper regions of the Nanda Devi biosphere. That's where I work with the rural children. So all that you are saying is so unbelievable to me. What about the rural children? What about the education there? Discover a new, they can't survive the present. It's just a paradigm shift. I would like to meet me at once. An invisible rapier seemed to have been thrust into the bodies of each and every student and the attending teachers in charge. A hushed whisper of "Big ma'am, shh, big ma'am," rippled across the room. They all straightened up, checked their clothes, hair, and assumed very edgy sitting positions. Now, any intrusion that takes away the already limited and precious time given to me for my work is extremely bothersome, to hold a facade about education. So I told the Baiji, I said, my regards to the lady, would you be kind enough to let her know that I'm in the middle of a class, but I'll be down in a few minutes? The room went still. And everybody looked at me boggle-eyed. They anyway look at me boggle-eyed, but they looked at me little slightly more boggle-eyed. The Baiji stared at me with horror. Tremblingly, she said that she will not be able to do so because my presence was required immediately. Chop, 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 move. Somewhere within my midriff, the concealed was the opening salvo. Nothing. No, hello, how are you? What are you doing with the children? I so desperately, as always, wanted to give a celestial answer, to this rather broad and everyday question, considering I had been in the school only for a week, and I was still getting to know the students. They are fine, I deflected, as I usually do to survive. Yes, you must encourage them more, no? And the principal nodded at the back. So, what is the play about? We are working towards it. You don't have a script? No, I pointed out. I'm still going through the selection process. Once this is over, we will start working on the script concept. A frown of disapproval emerged and the principal dutifully readjusted his face too. This is not going well, I thought. And it also became evident the principal had probably not been able to make the Maharani Sahiba understand anything about what I had really hoped to achieve here. And I doubt polished fingernails on the marble desk and dismissed me with a tinkling of bells. Thus far and no further. There departed my hope of ever looking at the private collection of the original miniature paintings of the region. Maybe if I genuflected low enough, would they consider my crawling up to where the paintings were kept? Who knows? Dragging my vassal's feet, I left the darbar. Recovery was getting slow. And here is the moral of this story, if you can find it. Bright sunlight outside, but I felt as if I was shrouded in darkness. Little by little, I made my way up to the staircase, back to the classroom. Gazing into the eyes of the children of tomorrow, I tried not to notice the demise of their budding aspirations in today's India's feudal realities. Thank you.
And it's wonderful to see that we seem to be on the right track. So we're very grateful for all your sharings. One thing that our school tries to do, focus on, when we talk about the changes that happen in the educational system, when we talk about the revolutions that have happened, when we talk about preparing human beings for tomorrow, bringing them from the past, essentially we are talking about the effects. The effects of what? The effects of the actions of the said human beings themselves. It's not as if the Industrial Revolution or the technological revolution has been created by aliens. They've been created by these human beings themselves. Now, such is the nature of human beings that they will strive, that they will use the tools that have been given to them. Unfortunately, while using these tools and trying to make their lives more convenient, easier, there are certain innate abilities that they no longer use. If you start reading research on neurosciences, quantum biology, you will know that what's happening is that technology is not allowing, or any progress that human beings make to make their lives easier is not allowing ourselves or we to use all our faculties, whether it's physical function. How will the brain be available for tomorrow if the brain has not established different pathways and networks? You have a superb organ inside your skulls where it is capable of storing and working with 75,000 trillion facts in one moment. That's all the data and more in United States National Library. If the network in the brain is laid down from end to end, it will form a chain of 16 billion light years, which is beyond the edges of the observable universe. Now, this brain needs activity. This organism needs engagement. All that technology has done, and especially today, is allowed information to be available at fingertips. The hole in the wall experiment, which I heard for the first, complex learning situations. We need to give children and engineer for children complex learning situations. Using the educational jargon, it means make your classes, your lesson plans, using all the skills across the three learning domains. Make them as complex as possible, multisensorial. I mean, we think about technology and all that's happening is children are moving their eyeballs. That's all that's happening. If you show them a PPT or something like that, right? So, complex learning situations, flexible curriculum. An ICSE curriculum offers us flexibility till grade 8. We are following that, and we want even more. Individualized learning to the child, we've spoken about that, and commensurate assessments. I would also like you to please...
This decision to lead, to motivate a group of young individuals in our care for a better tomorrow. The initiative of the Economic Times Future of Learning is therefore laudable, and we thank them for creating this Discover Tomorrow campaign. And spearheading this complete program today was Mrs. Ashish Garg. We thank her for giving all the schools of the Nilgiris and Coimbatore this opportunity of coming together, and of course we thank her for sharing her vast knowledge with us. The management, principals and correspondents of all the participating schools have made this Discover Tomorrow campaign meaningful, and for that I thank all of them. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we, a small group of people, have got together to light a lamp which will, we do hope, keep illuminating a lot of places around the globe. The press is helping us spread this message around, and we do thank them for this. We end now by collectively, Arun, singing our national anthem and hopefully reflecting the sentiments of each and every one of us together as an Indian.